are way out west, and this is the newly built MGM Grand Hotel in Reno, Nevada, where the lure for many is money. Money to be won at the slots or tables by those who seek a little action. And today there is big money at stake. $100,000 in prize money, bonus money to that person who is perfect. It's a game of chance. It's a game of skill. And you'll watch that skill and the talents of 8 of the best men's and women's bowlers, not only way out west, but in the world. NBC Sports presents the AMF Grand Prix of Bowling. We have Nelson Burton Jr. and George Pappas. And they got here through these days of qualifying in this manner. Nelson Burton Jr. just did sneak in last night. He is quite a bowling commentator in his own right, Jay. George Pappas out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Earl Anthony finished second, and he has won more titles and more money than anybody else bowling. And someone asked him what his goals are, and he said, make sure that I keep that up, that I have one more. And Mark Roth, who is the all-everything, the bowler of the year, is the man who's just waiting for everybody to eliminate themselves and to get down to the final match for the $10,000 against him. That is Nelson Burton Jr., who bowled here in June and did not bowl well on these lanes in June at all. Had a 154 on one of them.
Yes, Jim, that'll have to be in his mind a little bit. He'll have to worry about it. Of course, that shot, it didn't look like it bothered him at all, right?
You said it's in his mind. He came up and brought it up to me. I didn't ask him.
You know, maybe that's one way to get rid of it. Just kind of get it out in the open and forget about it after that.
Here's George Pappas out of Charlotte, North Carolina, as we said. As a matter of fact, every one of his Pro-Am checks he sends on to charities in Charlotte, North Carolina. Very superstitious about accepting a Pro-Am check and likes to make sure the charities get them instead of himself. Good-looking ball, but he's left himself the 10-pin.
Yeah, that ball just finished a little late, a little angle into the pocket and left the 10-pin. Just see a replay of that ball. You can see it entering the pocket. It's breaking late, and it's going to send the 6-pin right around the 10. It's not a bad shot for his first shot right out of the box, because you're usually a little shook up and you want to hit the pocket. He'll start stroking in a minute.
Going for his spare and covers a 10-pin. I would imagine, Jay, we kidded about it at the beginning that this has to be quite a moment for you, not only as a defending champion watching George roll here, but also knowing that you share the same room with the leader of the women's, and that's Cheryl, and she had a tough time getting to sleep, and she's got to wait now that Don has advanced before she meets Besma, and then she gets up. So you've got quite an anxious afternoon.
Yes, I definitely developed an ulcer last night. It was the worst I've ever gone through. It was a very tight match, very tight going all the way last night.
George Pappas, and again has left that same pin. Different lane, same pin.
You'll probably see somewhat the same reaction. The ball is going to get into the pocket and send the 6 right around. Again, George is going to have to tighten up his line of hair, not play the big back-end break.
They call this a tough course. Agree?
Definitely. This has been very tough this year. It was very high scoring for the PBA National when Warren Nelson won it. And the score's been very low this week. It only took plus 57 over, which is about 203 average to make the top 10 here. It's very unusual for the caliber of bowlers that we have here.
Well, here's that Olympic address again that I told you. Send your tax-deductible contribution to help our American Olympic athletes to U.S. Olympics, Post Office Box 1980T, Cathedral Station in Boston. And the zip code is 02118. Nelson Burton Jr., who is up by a pin. He comes in from the left side there and gets an extra pin, but leaves himself one.
Nelson got a very good break there. You can see here, well, you couldn't see it, but he set the ball down short. He set it down in the alley a little too early, and it hooked instantly. That was one of the problems the players had here. The earlier they set the ball down, the earlier it hooked. You have to get it over the alley extremely well. That's why Mark is leading the tournament. He throws it right over the heads. And he almost did the same thing on the spare, Jim. It hooked very early.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we call it a tough course. But what are some of the other reasons that make this a tough course?
Well, the pin carry wasn't really that extremely well this week. There's a lot of corner pins. As you can see, George left 2 corner pins. So with the early hooking part of the lane and the corner pins, it made it very tough.
Just up by a single pin.
And if you saw that shot, Jim, you can see how well he got it over the lane that time. He actually lofted the ball over the foul line.
We call him Nelson Burton Jr. because there is a Nelson Burton Sr. who is in the Bowling Hall of Fame. And Nelson Burton Jr. is just liable to make that and become the first father-son combination ever. Here's George Pappas, who has other ideas about today. He is down by 1 pin. They call him the mouth of the South. Well, I know quite a few people that call him mouth of the South. George is not alone there.
George got a nice kick on that 10-pin, that shot. That was almost 3 10-pins in a row, but he had a little more speed in that shot. It didn't break quite as much on the back end. So it was a very nice shot.
Nelson Burton up by 1 pin. George is chairman of the important tournament committee, and June, you're the chairman of your committee, are you not? In the
I
women's
am president of the,
president. Oh,
the
I beg your pardon.
PBA.
You know, Jim, George has a little more going for him this week. He's really been pumped up all fall, in fact, and the reason is his wife is expecting their first child. He says he's got to pay the bills, get that child in the world on the right foot.
Can I tell him something? He's right. He's got look at that. Look at that. He'll take that.
We'll see a replay of that. The ball is coming in very light. He went back, he kept up his speed and threw it aboard right, and it didn't come back. And a pin just comes around and sweeps them all off.
And for being up 1, Nelson Burton goes down 9 pins as a result of that strike. We'll come back with a continuation of this match from Reno, Nevada. Nelson Burton Jr., 4th frame. Remember, he finished 4th. George Pappas 3rd. Winner here goes on to face Earl Anthony, who finished 2nd. Winner of that match goes on to face Mark Roth. With a strike, Nelson Burton can go right back to +1. 1 up over George Pappas with the strike.
And Nelson
Same thing again?
Same thing again. Look.
Set it down a little short.
Right, he looked like he tried to get over the foul line. It looked like he may have turned it a hair early. And see, Nelson's footwork is very deliberate. He just slides right up the foul line, and I think that's something his father taught him, because his brother Neil Burton is the same way. Very deliberate. And Bo is really lost in this right lane right now. He's going to have to catch something in a hurry, or the General George here will bury him.
Is that what you call a 136, a General George?
No.
Or you call Pappas that?
Pappas, the General.
At the 136 as he went for the spare.
You can see here when Nelson shoots the spare, he can try to line up for the pocket when he shoots this. So he's actually trying to pick up the spare and trying to get lined up at the same time.
Oh, Harry Coyle and Larry Cirillo, that is a good shot, isn't it? Isn't that a good shot?
Great shot.
Beautiful, beautiful. Nelson is still down by 9 pins. The previous pinfall means nothing. You start from scratch, it's head-to-head competition. You get eliminated if you lose. I like that.
Excellent shot. Great extension. Got the ball over the foul line. Great. Here's a ground level shot going into the pocket. You can see the ball churning into that pocket, and it was just a great shot.
Now George Pappas, the leader, but not by much. Working on possible 3rd strike in a row if he can make it.
Nice shot.
And does not. Leaves the 7th.
Well, George's been close every shot. Every shot except for the one on lane 33 where he got the lucky strike. He's been close to the pocket. He's got to tighten his lineup just a hair and try to hit the pocket a little more solid. Looks like he's playing it a little safe right now, Jim. He's really not sure on how to get the ball into the pocket solid. He's making real good shots, though. Watch George's arm swing from this position here. It's just super. Straight back, straight forward. Great extension.